Alright, what's up, guys? So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Wave 3 coming out, but a little bit about the older waves first. So, this is the picture of all the mechs that have been released with the elementals, and I have all these except for the ones that come with the beginner box. And hopefully, I'll be picking that up, if not this weekend, the next weekend, because I want to do a review about it, even though I don't need like the rule book or anything like that. I have the old set of rules, which are like just the edition before this, and I think they only changed like one or two things, and I think they changed it for the best. But I'll probably go out and buy like the big hardback books, because in my opinion those are the best. And those are just the BattleTech manual and the advanced rules. Oh, excuse me. But I think there's a good like 6 or 8 mechs that I'm missing because they come in that beginner box, and I wish they would release them just in their own little thing. But you know, paying pretty much, if I get it online, I think you can get them down to like $50. So pretty much just buying it for the mechs. Sometimes, like, I have played with the battle mats that come with it. They tend to be, you know, small, like a 2x3 piece of paper. I always keep a few of them around because if you go over to a friend's house, like here in my house, I have like a 4x8 table to play on, and I have the big 4x6 hex map. But most people don't have that space, so I always keep some of the small paper ones around. You never know, so you know, I don't. If you only have a small place to play, I think the beginner set's probably the best for you because it's coming with the hex map. It's going to come with the rules. I think some dice, which probably have hundreds of dice like anybody else who plays any kind of tabletop game. And then the mechs, though, the mechs are pretty solid. Other than that, I really am super happy with everything that's come out so far. Even like the shitty mechs that aren't that great, I don't care. I'll take them. I'm kind of a completist with BattleTech, so I'm gonna try to get like everything. All right, so let's move on to the new stuff. So this is one of the new kits that just came out of pre-order. Pretty much the new ones have like 1 or 2 new mechs, I think, and then they pretty much have a bunch of not rescopes, but repositions, and at least one of them has jump jets. And you can see the heavy here, I think it's an assault mech, I can't think of its name, but you can see the jump jets. I've bought one box so far, and it's the one with the Axemen. I did a review about it. I just haven't posted it to YouTube yet, but hopefully I'll get around being a lazy ass and post that shit. But I like the jump jets. They're pretty solid looking. They go on easy, so for the people who constantly complain about, I don't like putting models together, it's pretty fucking idiot proof. You can't fuck it up. I'm sure you could, but then it would be completely on your ass, like seriously. But I'm kind of like excited because now you have like one assault mech that has jump jets. Maybe we'll get a couple more assault mechs that come with jump jets, because it'll be kind of cool to like just position shit. And you know, it's variety. You know, there's already been like, I think 2 or 3 releases of like the Atlas and a couple of the Mad Cats. You know, we already have doubles of stuff coming out, but they have reposes. As long as the reposes are like dramatically different enough, it doesn't bother me too much. But I'm always trying to go for like the new stuff. And still, I think the price point with these boxes are about like $25 if you buy it in the store, which is still good. I know there's another box on the Wave 3, I'll talk about it later, that has like 7 mechs in it, and it's going to be like $40. But, I mean, 7 mechs is 7 mechs, and I think they're all new, so I'll take it. And this is the other box that I don't have. Hopefully I'll be getting these soon too. But the jump jets look really cool. I know once I get that review of the Axeman out, the Axeman is a little bit, but the jump jets is a little bit smaller. Not much, but he's a little bit thinner, like he's been cutting weight. The whole body's like the chest, the legs, the arms, they're all a little bit thinner, and I think they did that so it doesn't look too ridiculous when you, because the height, it's only like maybe an inch taller than the other mechs, or even like like an assault mech. It's only like an inch taller, but because of the jump jets. But I don't know. It still looks good. But in that video review, like I put them side by side. I don't know. Some people might not like that, but to me, it wasn't that. It's noticeable, but it's not like enough to say, "Oh, I'm not buying it." I still think it looked decent. Again, hopefully I'll get that shit done soon. Maybe Sunday, because today is Saturday the 18th, so I got a lot of shit to do. But I'm definitely buying like all these like boxes with the jump jets. They look decent, and I don't even care. I'm probably gonna have doubles of almost everything. I wouldn't mind doubles of everything, because sometimes you just want to run two of the same mechs. And I'm not like a big meta player, or I don't take like the most beefiest mech all the time. But sometimes I just like if we're just playing like a game for shits and giggles, I'll run two like shitty mechs just as like a joke. And they usually still, as long as you're decent on your positioning, they can always, like a shitty mech can do good. Don't believe the hate. Okay, moving on from that ramble. So this is like the new stuff coming out, the new books. I'm not truly sure about any of the books. I haven't bought any of these. You can see that what is it, the maps, the hexless can't fucking talk today. The hexless maps are for the Alpha Strike players, because in Alpha Strike there's no hexes on the map. Again, I'm not really interested in ever playing Alpha Strike, but I'm glad that they're putting stuff out for Alpha Strike. There's also another box I think that's either released or coming out soon. That's like mechs, and it's for Alpha Strike. I'll probably be getting that and still doing a review on it. I'm just getting it for the mechs, obviously, but I'll show all the cards and stuff like I always do, because yeah, I'm not interested, but it's still part of Battletech, and I can see why the original rules can be very daunting for people, because there is a lot of shit to learn. But once you learn down your phases and all your stuff, that sheet that comes with the mech, and you fill in the damage and stuff, and all your your loadouts and stuff are all there. It's the downside of the game that it takes. If you're playing like 3 or 4 mechs, you might be looking at 3 to 5 hours of a game. That's I can understand that too, that people don't have time. But I love the original Battletech. So again, I don't really care for Alpha Strike, but I'm glad that they're making stuff for Alpha Strike, because it just pulls people into the game. People are buying the models because the models definitely look fucking good, and Battletech is fun, and it's a lot cheaper than, way cheaper than like 40k, even if you went like full tilt and bought everything. Alright, so this is one of the new boxes that are going to come out in Wave 3. I think that one in the bottom, second from the left on the bottom, is the Hatchet Man. He's got like a hatchet on his right arm. I like the look of them. They all look pretty decent. I think these are like later era books, mechs. There's so many mechs, and it's like you see one and you recognize it, but you can't think. And I'm not going to dig through all my books, but this is the box that's going to be like $40. I think this is some solid mechs. I think the mechs on the bottom left is like the first mech that was ever made, and then that was kind of like the prototype, and they started making different variants afterwards. Here's the cool thing about BattleTech, and I see some people freaking out about this because they were complaining about the name, and they were like, this should be called like the Origin mech, because I think some of these mechs are really old. If you go through your era books, or if you don't know what it is, like in 40K you have codexes with the different chapters or different rule books. BattleTech works on eras, so it's like 3060, 3035, there's 3085. It's by like dates of a year. And you can go through the older books that come later, and you can find those old mechs that have been updated with either the armor, the technology, because the technology, the weapon systems and shit like that, it all changes. So the later you go, you like your micro lasers, you get like anti-missile systems that don't depend on ammo. There's laser-based ones. There's multiple warheads on the missile systems. Like it gets crazy. It's like a snub-nosed PBC. And there's plasma weapons. Like, they do change, and Catalyst does a pretty good job of taking those old mechs and updating. So don't think because, oh, I have this old, super old, like Mad Cat. There's Mad Cats, or just like fucking any mech, really. Like, if you get the early books, which the first one's like the 3039, and then it goes to like the 3055 or whatever, or the 3050s where the clans show up, you can find those mechs in later books, and they're completely like almost not redesigned, but everything on them is new, and they work. So don't worry about that shit. Don't think that you're going to get a mech that's only from one era. Sometimes you'll see, like, the hell's the Archer. There's like 3 or 4 books that have different versions of the Archer, and it's over time. It's like changed, and they've changed like the weapon system. So don't worry about that stuff. Here's another box coming out. I want to say at least 3 of those mechs are reposes. I think that one on the left is the Galahad. I know the one on the bottom right's it's the Cyclops, I think. And he's got a chest gun on that, so I know that's different from the other one. I don't know what the hell the one on the back right is. Got that round head, little walking trash can. Looks cute. But yeah, don't worry about like getting a mech and thinking, oh, this is an early era mech and it's out of date. Trust me, you'll find tons of versions, and you can always get the I can't even think of the books now, but there's another book besides the era book, and man, I can't fucking think of them. They're in the other room. Hold on, I will go check real quick. Okay, I went and got the fucking book. The technical readouts. I'll do a video on like all of the BattleTech shit that you need to play the game, and I'll talk about like the different books. But the technical readouts, they're a weird shaped book. They're not like the normal ones, and they pretty much give you all the information that if you have a blank mech sheet and you say, okay, I don't have the record sheet of this mech, but if you had the technical readouts, you could take all the information it gives you and fill out a sheet. And it seems like it'll be hard when you look at it for just like how it's all written out and shit. But it's once you compare it to like if you have a mech in a technical book and then you have a record sheet, you can figure it out real easy, and it's not that hard. It seems a little daunting, but I promise you, it's not that difficult. If it's your first time, you'll probably have some problems, but it's really not that hard. And I'll do a video one day of like all the books and the rule books and all that shit, because BattleTech, the rules aren't that bad. It's just you need a couple books, and once you once you get the information, you just have to learn how to apply it, and it's super fucking easy. The game can play itself pretty much, and to me, it's like the best tactical game. Like, is 40K comes really close, but if you're using tanks and you're using like the aero fighters and you're doing air and ground stuff and you have artillery, no tabletop game comes like fucking close to what BattleTech can do. And they even have like APCs and infantry, and we'll talk more about that stuff later. But we'll move on to the new stuff coming out right now. Okay, so here's the new shit coming, and I'm more happy about the vehicles, the tanks and the helicopters, more than the mechs. I will talk about the mechs, but really all you're seeing is the names of the vehicles, and that's what I'm excited for. The Ontos is a badass tank, definitely worth buying, and I recommend that even if you don't like vehicles, buy some vehicles and use them. For one thing, and they don't have the same fusion engine that mechs have, so they don't suffer from any heat. So if you have 8 large lasers on a fucking tank, you alpha strike every turn you can. Like, I'm kind of, because I don't think this is everything they're talking about coming out. I think there's a lot of stuff that's probably going to come out that they haven't shown. I'll talk about that later. But there are tanks out there like the Challenger that are pretty much just as armed as like a heavy or an assault tank or assault mech. And, chances are your tank's going to get like a mobility hit, because it happens with tanks. But the firepower they can unleash on some of these tanks are fucking brutal, and they can be fun. It's fun sometimes playing against somebody that's all mechs, and all you are is like vehicles, like ground vehicles, and you're just trying to you're like the security team or the small military force that is trying to buy time for your mechs to start up, and you're just there to slow them down as much as you can. You're not going to win, but you're there to slow them down as much as you can. So I say, hey, give them a try. You'll probably like them. And I could be wrong about some of these tanks' names, because I'm just going by what's in my record sheet pictures. So there's like some of them with the question marks that I might be wrong, but I'm 90% sure I'm right. Like the Brutus, I think because they're also like reimagining some of the vehicles just like they do with the mechs. And I know the Brutus has like a one barrel, but there's like a split down it, or there's like a piece of metal, so it's like two laser barrels, but they're like welded to one, and it has that round top. So I could be wrong about like the Scimitar or the Brutus. I'm pretty sure that's the Galleon though, because from what I see, it looks like it has 2 little turrets on the side, and the Galleon's like one of the only few tanks that have something like that. The Shriek, I think it's Shriek PPC carrier, is a fucking great tank. 3 PPCs. Again, there's no heat in vehicles, so that thing is firing all 3 of those guns every turn. Trust me, some small light bastard runs in front of you, you just blast them, you send them right to fucking hell. Some of the tanks are fucking ridiculously good. The Pegasus I like. I think I have a few of those in metal. I'm a big like vehicles user. What the hell do I have? I have a lot of like Rommels or Pattons. They're pretty much the same tank, but there's like different main guns. I have the Rommel howitzer. I have a whole bunch of other. I have a lot of hovercrafts, and what's my favorite? The Sladen assault hover tank. It's got a flank of 12, and it's just one weapon on it, and it's just the autocannon 20. And with the hovercrafts, let me tell you, in normal BattleTech, positioning is 90% of the game. Where you have your mech, if you're shooting somebody in the back, remember, even like your biggest assault mech, when it comes to like back armor and head armor, there's a max number, and no matter how big it is, how badass it is, all those mechs meet the same thing. Just like the heads only got like what, 12 hit points, and the same with the back, it maxes out. So like getting these little fast, granted you might take 2 or 3 shots, like some of the light vehicles, the hovers, and get completely fucking destroyed, because that's the price you pay. You're paying for that glass cannon that is super fucking fast, that you're hoping, that you're trying to move flanking speed all the time, so it's really hard to hit, and then you get behind them, and then you just open up into the butthole. And that's pretty much how you take these mechs down, with these like little glass cannon guys. So never underestimate like the Pegasus and shit like that, the Scimitar, because they don't have a lot of weapons. They might have one laser and a couple of SRMs, but when you're shooting the back of like light mechs and medium mechs, those little weapons hurt. And you could say, don't worry about them. They get a couple alpha strikes into your ass, and you're going to be like, oh, maybe you should fucking pay attention to that shit. Because I've played with friends, and they just like, light mechs are stupid. The thing gets hit once, it's going to die. And I've taken down assault mechs easily in like 2 or 3 turns, just taking pop shots at the back, and you just get lucky sometimes. And it's like, oh, I didn't think they could do that. I'm like, yeah, you just gotta watch your butt. I'm also like super, super happy that they have like the Warrior helicopter. I think it's in the 3058 book. You can find that. There's a bunch of different helicopters. I think there's one helicopter that just has like a gauze rifle or something like that. And it's like, I think the Wasp. And it's just meant to be like fast, pops out from the trees, takes a shot, then runs away. I don't know if there's going to be any aero fighters in this release. It would be nice to have like one plane, at least one plane. They did come out with a plastic aero fighter for like, I think Wave 2, if you're like one of the people on the Kickstarter. Maybe they'll do that again. I can't see them not making a planes or aero fighters. They're so fucking fun. You can overload them, and you can, the thing about BattleTech is you have that, like, you can have space battles going on and then ground battles going on, and you can send ships, planes, or spaceships pretty much, or aero fighters from space and have them do like a re-entry onto the battlefield. And like, you overload them, they just crash into the fucking ground and shit like that. If you have bad rolls, which can happen. I've seen it happen. Not to me, but it's happened to other people. But like stuff like that, there's so many layers to BattleTech that go beyond just the mech combat shit. And I know that they're going to do, at least for the Inner Sphere, there's going to be a battle armor. So pretty much like with the elementals, like a type of power armor for infantry, they're going to at least I know there's one type coming out. I don't know what type of armor it is. It'll probably be something basic. I hope they come out with infantry and all that stuff too, because they do have, I want to say the Galahans has like troop transport capability. And there are helicopters that are like the Osprey and stuff like that have troop transports. And again, it's just adding another whole layer to BattleTech. I recommend just start with the mechs first. Just start simple. Maybe you and your friend do like 3,000 points. That'll be like, maybe if you're in a sphere, you can probably get, depending on what era books you're pulling from, maybe early, maybe 3 mechs pushing it. If you're clan, you're probably running maybe 2 or 1, because it's not a lot of points. But start small, and then start adding, hey, okay, I want to add like a tank, or I want to add an arrow fighter, and just, go from there. Don't try to like do some massive campaign, because it's going to be overwhelming and it's going to take hours, maybe days to play that game. So start small. All right, so let's go on to the tank, or not the tanks, the mechs, because I do want to talk about those a little bit. I'm excited for some of the mechs coming. The riflemen, the old school riflemen with the round dish, I fucking love that thing. It's just so anti-air badass looking. Also, we're getting some quad mechs with the 4 legs. There are some, I want to say that's like the Tarantula on the left, and is that the Typhoon on the right? The little 4-legged dude. There are some weird fucking quad mechs. They're just goofy as fuck, but there is one. Let me look up the name, or I got the book somewhere. Okay, I had to fucking look the son of a bitch up, but if you got the 3060 era book, the Sirocco, it looks like an AT-AT from Star Wars, but like if it did steroids and maybe a little bit of crack. Like there's guns on the legs. There's a gun under the chin of the head. There's like a gun on each side of its like for ears, and then there's like 2 huge guns coming off its back, and then there's another set of guns on its butt. Like it's covered in like medium lasers like everywhere, and then it's got like the Ultra AC-10s on the top. It's fucking ridiculous. But it looks so beautiful. I hope they make more of the like quads. Like they're goofy as hell. They're impractical. I like the stalking spider. It literally has like fangs on it, and it looks like a spider. Not practical by any means, but it's like it fucking looks like a spider. It's ridiculous. See some of the other stupid ones. The fire scorpion looks like a fucking scorpion almost. It's ridiculous. The bar, I don't know how you say that, bar heist, kind of just weird, but it's another quad. There's like 4 or 5 fucking quad mechs in this book. Catalyst, please make them all. I don't give a shit. Just make them all. I'll buy them. There's people out there who love the quads. We'll buy them. You know we will. They're just so fucking goofy. So this book has so many weird fucking mechs. Another mech that I'm really excited for, if you look at the 2 quad mechs, it's right there in the middle of them. People were calling this something else. It's a Devastator. And when I first saw it, I'm like, that's a fucking Devastator. Because I have one in metal. And the metal pose, it's kind of like walking or running. And it's not really a fucking good pose. The quality of the mech is solid. It looks like what it's supposed to. But it's like, it almost looks like it's about to fucking trip and like eat dirt. But if you're an Inner Sphere player, the Devastator is probably would be my, like if I was to play like a serious game of BattleTech and play Inner Sphere and go into like a tournament or something like that, I'd want a Devastator. They're fucking great. Pretty much one of those, I think the lore is they found it somewhere in some, like when Skolninsky and all that drama shit was going on and everyone had the big exodus, like some of that like high-end tech shit was left behind, and I think the Devastator was one of them, and they later found it in some locked up base somewhere. Like it has double heat sinks, it has like really good shit in it, and I think it's got like 2 gauze weapons and 2 something else, like maybe ERPBCs or something like that, but it's really fucking good. Like I'm really happy that's coming out. I'm surprised it didn't come out earlier, but if you're an Inner Sphere player, you're going to want at least 1 Devastator, maybe fucking 2, because that is a bad bitch. In between the Shrek PPC carrier and that truck thing, I looked through all my books. I couldn't figure out what the truck there with the satellite dish is. I don't know if that's like two pieces or just one piece, because I know there's like clan vehicles that have like it's a truck and then there's like a hitch that ties another truck to it, and they're like two pieces. I don't know what you call those kind of vehicles, but I know they exist in like real life and stuff. But anyways, between them, something I'm really happy for is that Kraken. That Kraken is a badass. I have a metal version of him, and I have to say the plastic version is looking a lot better. It's a little hard to see because he's zoomed out, but just looking at it with the guns, I was like, I know what that is, and I can say it's already beautiful, and I definitely want that. I'm taking all the riflemen. I'm taking all the tanks and stuff, and that Devastator. I definitely want one of those. All right, let's go to another picture. Here's another picture of the Kraken up on that top right, close up, looking beautiful. The Ontos on the bottom left. I think that's the Brutus, and that's one of the hover vehicles. Again, everything is looking pretty fucking solid. I think that's a fire starter in the bottom. I could be wrong about that. Feel free to correct me, like always. You know, someone will. Man, that Kraken looks so fucking good. I can't wait. I can't wait! And I just hope they put out like more and more vehicles. I'm excited about the battle armor too. Let's look at this one picture here. So this is one of the, I guess, how they're going to organize their stuff. I was a little bit worried. I was hoping, like, if you did tanks, like, it'd be just, like, maybe 5 of one type. But I kind of like this. I want to say the tank on the left are the behemoths. And that's another badass fucking inner sphere tank. Pretty much this lance right here is pretty beefy. The vehicles aren't bad, the little like wheeled ones. They're there to like scout and shit. I think the helicopter, the warriors are pretty decently armed, and the Otos, I don't know how you pronounce it, are really good. But I'm pretty sure that the tanks on the left are the behemoths, and those guys are really fucking armed, and they're really armored, and they're really decent. So if they're showing a tank here that the other pictures didn't show, hopefully we'll get some other stuff, because I haven't seen any clan vehicles yet, and the clans have some wild looking shit. I do love the clan vehicles. They're just like, you have to see the pictures of them. They're just fucking like someone was on drugs when coming up with some of the ideas of those things. The Odin scout tank looks really cool, goofy as hell. What's another clan tank? The Mithras light tank. Just, they're not even really tank. It's like a tractor with 2 sets of treads. But I want the Aris. What's another good one? What's that one? Looks the Oro. It's like ORO heavy tank. The thing's just got like a fucking LBX 20 cannon on it. The clan tanks look ridiculous. The Hatchiman fire support tank looks ridiculous, but it's like I would field it. I don't give a shit. The Athena combat vehicle's got like 2 giant like gauze rifles on it. They're not even like, they're almost like the clan tanks are like the Baneblade of 40k and like the Leviathan. Like they're just massively, ridiculously huge. The Ishtar heavy fire tank is like 2 giant wheels with 2 small wheels in the back. It's almost like set up like a quad thing. The Mars assault vehicle looks badass. The Demolisher 2 heavy tank. Like the clan tanks are just out of this world. And like the front armor on the Demolisher. Oh, that's Inner Sphere. Shit, it's like 60 armor. What's the Mars? The Mars has 50 armor. That's a clan. But it's like they're just fucking moving cities of guns. I really hope they stick with the vehicles, and like I said, I really recommend you, if you're not into the tanks, give them a shot. Run 1 or 2 like tanks, because. And then here's another thing we haven't seen. I'm surprised there's no like SRM launcher tanks or the LRM launchers or the heavy LRM. I want to say there's like a wheeled tank that has like SRMs on it, and those are really fun to play. You put them behind trees, and you just launch like LRMs, because again, with tanks there's no heat, so if you have like 4 LRM 20, I don't know what the hell what's the LRM launcher to launch? I know what it launches, but like I think this is like the heavy. Yeah, 4 LRM 20s. You know, missiles don't always do a lot of damage, and they tend to miss, or they tend to get, like, a lot of them get shot down, but if you're launching 4 LRM 20s, like, every turn, for, like, 6 or 7 turns, a bunch of those are bound to fucking get through and do some damage to somebody. I really hope they come out with those launchers and, like, the artillery stuff. There are boats in Battletech. There are a couple boats, but they're not bad, but it's like I'd rather take like maybe like hovercrafts over the boats. That's just my personal opinion. So here's a list from the Kickstarter page. Oh man, I wish I had this. If I get lucky, I'm gonna buy some scratch off tickets. If I can make like an extra couple $100 by luck, I'll fucking I'll definitely back this Kickstarter, because this one's going to be, in my opinion, sweet. You can see all the names, the Clan Cavalry Star. I don't know all of these, except for the pictures that they released for a few of them, but I'm hoping a lot of these are like tanks and shit. You can see that they have the Battle Armor Pack, which I think is going to be the Armored Infantry for the Inner Sphere, which I'm glad for, because now we have elementals, so you know it'll give something elementals to do besides go after like mechs. The battlefield support objectives I'm really excited for. Maybe Catalyst will start making some like basic terrain, and that would be really nice, because it's hard to fucking find terrain for Battletech. Usually what I do is go to train stores or hobby stores that have train kits and try to find some of the smaller scale like stuff for trains, and sometimes you get lucky and the scale just works out with some of the stuff. Not everything, but some of the stuff, like maybe houses or buildings. I know if you have a 3D printer, there's tons of shit out there to 3D print now. I want to get one for myself, just for the Battletech. I'll be running that shit 24/7. Another thing I hope they come out with is drop ships and drop pods. I could see like a plastic drop pod being like maybe $50-$60, maybe, because the size and stuff, if they're going to do to like scale. But that would be, well, they don't have to make it like entirely to scale, but have it like pretty fucking big. That would be so badass. The fucking, if I don't know which book it is in the record sheets, but there are record sheets that have like the small shuttle ships that have like 4 or 5 mechs in them, but then those big round sons of bitches, those big drop pods, and those things have like capital weapons on, like capital PPCs, and they are fucking disgusting. Like the damage output of those are really ridiculously disgusting, and they should be, because they're meant to like take shots at capital ships, or you know, in aero fighters and stuff like that. In space, everything is bigger. You know, all your battleships are going to be ridiculous, and maybe they'll come out with some battleships, like some like dreadnought sized ships for the aerospace. Who knows? I can only hope for the, you know, because I love it all. And I'm sure they can set that stuff up for like Alpha Strike. I don't see it being that hard if they're able to. They're coming out with all these vehicles. I'm sure they're going to set up the vehicles for Alpha Strike and all that stuff, so everybody can get on it. It's not going to be just only the old school BattleTech. Make it, come up with something for everybody, and then everyone can go out and buy it. Don't leave anybody out. Even though, like I said before, I said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. Like, I have no interest in playing Alpha Strike ever, but I'm 100% happy that they're making stuff for it, because it just pulls people into this hobby. And BattleTech, in my opinion, is probably one of the better hobbies. Like, if you're butthurt, or you're justifiably butthurt about like 40K or Games Workshop with their shit, again, they just had like another price hike and all that shit. And $50 buys you 10 Space Marines, where you can buy almost 3 boxes of mechs for $50. And you filled out like a couple lances. BattleTech is a really good game, and if you can handle the rules from 40K and all that shit, you can handle the rules easily for BattleTech. Like I said, the rules for BattleTech, there's a lot of them, but once you learn the phases and with the record sheets, it's not hard. I have a stepson that's like 5 years old. I'm gonna try to get him maybe when he's like 7 or 8. I'm gonna try to get him to see if he can like start comprehending like BattleTech, just as an experiment to see, if you could, teach young people, because with this game, anyone looking from the outside in, just getting into BattleTech, if you're not buying that starter box, you're probably going to be overwhelmed, as you would with any game. So I'm excited for Wave 3. I want it to come. It can't come soon enough. I believe the Kickstarter is still open till the 24th or something. Other than that, hey, thanks for listening to me talk like a crazy son of a bitch for fucking 40 minutes. This was supposed to be a 10-minute video. Damn. Other than that, I'm gonna try to do a video about all the like books and stuff, just as like a solid breakdown. I won't have all the up-to-date new rule books, but they work just all the same. All right, until next time, take care. Bye.